Hey everybody, welcome to Movie Show Plus, the Oscar Sunday edition. If you're watching this right now on WADL, that means that it's Oscar Sunday, and we have exciting news because right at the end of this show is on at 4:30 until 5 on WADL. But right at 5 o'clock, when this show ends, I would like to invite you to a live Oscar preview special that we are doing, the Movie Show Plus live Oscar preview special. What is that, you might wonder? Well, a couple weeks ago, we held our first ever live episode of Movie Show Plus. It was online, could be seen on our website, on our Facebook page, and as well as on some other social media, like our YouTube channel, things like that. Well, it was such a success that we decided to do it again for the Oscars. So today, from 5 to 6, online at any of those locations, go to our website or go to YouTube or go to Facebook, and you can uh, join us live. Yeah, that's right, live as we do an Oscar preview. Greg Russell will be there along with myself. We will be uh, talking Oscars. We'll be previewing all of the categories, but more importantly, we're going to have some giveaways. We're going to be giving away some movie swag. Uh, Usually, now, if you're a fan of Movie Show Plus in the past, we have the last couple of years hosted a very successful Oscar gala at the Maple Theater, where last year we had like a silent auction and all kinds of food and swag bag giveaways and all kinds of stuff. We were giving out prizes all night long. We watched the Oscars on the big screen. You can still watch the Oscars on the big screen. It's showing at the Maple Theater this year. There just isn't an Oscar gala. But as a substitute, again, you can join us online from the comfort of your own home at 5 o'clock today. That's right at the end of this episode from 5 to 6. And what's cool about this is that it's interactive. So throughout the show, you'll be able to comment, and we'll be able to see your comments and respond to them live on the air. So we're excited to do this. Let's get to today's show. Oscar themed, we do have a lot of interviews coming up from Greg Russell, a couple new interviews first from Greg Russell for some upcoming things that you'll find interesting. And then after that, we're going to revisit some of Greg's interviews and actually an interview of mine with some of this year's Oscar nominees. That's going to lead us all the way up to 5 o'clock, where again, at that point, we hope you join us live today for our Oscar preview special. So without further ado, let's get into what Greg has for us today, his new stuff. Here we go.
How about the pickups? I hear there's a problem.
You forget who you're talking to?
I'm the former police commissioner. There's a woman.
You're a caretaker?
Hey, Damon. Where is she?
You do what I tell you to do, and everything will be just fine.
When it comes down to like family, you will do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what really drew me to the script. It's what drew me to the role. At the core of it, this is a single mom that's doing anything that she can to protect her daughter. And that's just a story that I understand. I had a single mom, she was 20 when she had me. She did anything and everything it took just to protect me, And I love that I've never played a character that has so much reluctance and doesn't actually want to be doing the things that she's doing. Most of my characters are thriving doing those things. So it was nice to have a completely different energy going into each of these sort of, side jobs, each of these little mini chapters. It's like she doesn't want to be there. She has to be there. And to contain the anger and confusion over what happened with Morgan, mixed with the fear and desperation of her daughter, it's just like a different ballgame.
Speaking of Morgan, we've seen him play God before and all like this. This time he's kind of completely at the other end.
Yeah. Yeah, Morgan is, he's one of the greatest actors of all time. So he's a fantastic guy. He's so calm and gentle, but he's very witty. And then as far as acting, it's to watch him is mesmerizing, and you get completely sucked into the scene. And we did have some very intimate, scenes and dialogue with so many layered emotions. And from one second, it's like, hey, Damon, to like, what? And the journey that we take, both of us, as in the character, was so much easier to do alongside someone that is so good at what they do as well. You just felt it. It just really felt like we're in that moment.
Three more stops. Two more stops. One more stop. Get rid of that for me.
Everything's complicated, but there's always a solution.
Seen that car before. From the bank.
Those people aren't from the bank.
Hang on.
Right now, we need to go. They found us. We're gonna get somewhere safe. So long, America. Have a nice day.
What did he do? I'm sorry.
Your character has more layers than a 10-tier wedding cake.
Oh, good. He's a very sort of determined, intelligent, optimistic, I would say, and also slightly overbearing at times, at least with his family, that's for sure.
The book that the story's based off of was written by your uncle.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. You know, just it's all the Thoreau family.
It was written by my uncle in the 80s. Him and Apple had already kind of set it up with Fremantle. And then that's when I sort of first heard about it, just sort of in the normal casting circuit. And it just timed out. You know, had it been 10 years ago, I probably would have been too young. 10 years from now, I'd probably be too old. But it was just one of those happy accidents.
But we find out your family has so many layers going on.
So many layers, so many secrets, lots of lying to their kids, lots of telling them certain things that most parents shouldn't tell their kids, lots of looks between the adults, you know, the parents. I mean, they're like Bonnie and Clyde, which is how I like to see them. But this time they have teenage witnesses watching them do everything.
So much, you know, intrigue and interest, but then also a lot of physical stuff because, you know, you guys are actually walking across the desert yourselves.
We were dropped in the desert and left to walk and walk and walk and run. We had helicopters, we had drones, we had trucks like the monster truck with the big arm. It was a blast.
Immediately you're drawn in. It's like, I got to find out what's happening here. But it's that type of series.
Yeah, definitely. That was probably my favorite part about it, at least reading through it first, was just that I wouldn't have been able to predict basically a single thing that happened past the first episode.
You guys all really did look like a real family together.
I kind of found that like our way of decompressing was just getting together, becoming even closer, having dinner, lunch, hanging out with each other on weekends, and we all just started becoming 24/7 a family that was always together. Why are you doing this, Tim?
Why is he doing this to you?
Tina. Where are you guys headed?
There are people who like the movies, and then there are those
felt like running,
who love the movies.
Yes.
To all the movie lovers out there, the movies love you right back.
I introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Shakespeare.
Bring your movie love. The Oscars, live April 25th on ABC.
It was my family. We got together and watched the movie last night, and we all found it, of course, a very fascinating story. But probably the one thing that just really stuck out is the fact that it was a true story. I mean, this almost seems like something that someone, you know what I mean, would have had to write up because you couldn't imagine stuff like this. But that's just the way it was. What was it like for you, just, you know, even reading through the script when you first got it?
I was blown away.
Mhm.
Mostly about like that a man with this kind of ideas and this kind of mind and this kind of heart lived, you know, and I didn't know about it like in this way. That this man's remarkable. Like, why is there not a lot more people remarking about him? You know what I'm saying? It's like it was a very strange. I was like, what the hell? He was able to kind of deduce and articulate really complex ideas in a really simple, accessible way, you know, and in a really charismatic way, you know, and so yeah, I was kind of really taken aback that this kind of world and this kind of story and this kind of man had been suppressed in such a visceral way.
What's it like also looking at this movie? It's 52 years ago, but the reality is the stuff that was going on back then is still going on now.
Yeah. In some ways, history just have been put on pause, you know, apparently. So it's all, you know, it's all about the lessons we learn and how we try not to make the same mistakes. You know, I'm not convinced that movies are going to shift the social consciousness to a point where everybody automatically wakes up, but I do think it can help, you know, people sort of look at some of the actions they make and how they might be able to make better ones so that we don't make the same mistakes.
Great to see you both. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Really good, thank you.
Good. There are a lot of words I can use to describe the movie, but I guess even the biggest one would just be wow. Just, you know, wow. Carrie, I have to ask you, when you got the script, this kind of like comes across as one of those where you probably read it through the first time and then read it through again, and maybe even a third time all in one sitting.
Pretty much, yeah. I think I had a similar reaction to reading the script that you had to watching it. Just wow, and I can't believe she's asked me to do this. And when do I start, really? Particularly once I'd met Emerald and we talked for a second, and she'd sent me through the music that she was thinking about, you know, being on the film and the way that she wanted it to look. It was just this completely an idea, something I just never seen before.
No, that's for sure. And Emerald, tell us a little bit about how the whole idea and the concept about this story came about.
Well, I think it's something I've been thinking about a lot, because obviously we've been talking about it, and I'm very bad at isolating kind of the moment when it happens. It tends to be brewing for a long time, but for me it was, you know, things come in a kind of moment, and for me it was this idea of a girl drunk on a bed and somebody taking her clothes off and her saying, what are you doing, you know, drunk, and then suddenly sitting up and saying, well, what are you doing? And that sort of scene was almost fully formed. And so when that happened, I kind of knew who Cassie was, and I knew what the film would be, but at that point, I guess. And then it just was a matter of, you know, letting it take shape.
You're right, because I mean, you know, you're watching it, you're thinking you're seeing, you know, everybody automatically in their mind thinks, okay, I'm pretty sure I know where this is going. And then all of a sudden you get to a turn, and it's like, wow, I like it. And one thing I do have to say, Carrie, in regards to when your character was going through the books, you know, scratching out the names of particular guys, I'm just so happy I did not see the name Greg. That just made me feel really good. It was like, woo.
Yeah, I had no involvement in the names. It was very much an art department thing. So there's no secret private digs in there from me.
Right.
No, there weren't actually. We kind of deliberately chose sort of, you know, kind of pretty run-of-the-mill names. It would have been pretty cruel to have picked off all of one's exes.
Right. Every guy being going, oh my goodness, okay. But also again, for your character, I mean, it's kind of like we realize as we watch the movie, you know, what's really going on and what her character is about as far as why she is doing the stuff she's doing. Because obviously we don't want to give any thing away, but it's kind of like she was determined to do certain things.
Yeah, I think, you know, we sort of saw it as an act of extreme loyalty, that this is somebody doing something for someone that they love, and there's something she just won't, it's, you know, she feels there's been something. It's so hard to talk about, isn't it? But this is something that she is set on, determined. Nobody's going to change her mind, and I really love that sort of determined loyalty and fierce protectiveness of somebody, and of the sort of love that is, you know, is resulting from. So it was nice that for me the story was driven by kind of a positive thing as opposed to something sort of nefarious.
Right. And also for you, Emerald, you're the writer and the director. So many, you know, great actors in this movie. And thank you for giving Sam Richardson a job. He's from Detroit. We went to the same high school, not at the same time, but way to go, U of D Jesuit High School Cubs. Yay.
Well, Detroit is like one of my favorite shows of all time. I mean, I just absolutely love it and have watched every episode a million times. And so, yeah, Sam is just a genius. And so, yeah, just getting him to be in the movie was so exciting. Persuading him to wear the worst bootcut jeans, maybe in the whole of America.
Absolutely. I'm gonna have to get one of those hats now myself. But both of you, Carrie, Emerald, thank you both so very, very much for your time. And honest to God, I look forward to watching this movie again, and then again, and then again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This movie, when I say very gripping, an emotional kind of roller coaster, because even just starting out about your character, Vanessa, I mean, because of something that happens in the beginning, it just kind of puts her definitely down this rabbit hole of just, you know, things and feelings. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, it made me, I mean, I spoke to a lot of mothers who had been through this and tried to understand the very specific nature of feeling like, you know, of that kind of grief, really. And how a lot of them said it was like the loneliest journey, because it's such an internal one in a way, if you think about it, a relationship they've had with their baby for 9 months, and it, you know, and that happening. So yeah, I had to really understand that, and navigate that journey, as well as her. In a way, the story for me has always been about her courage to not do what everyone else expects of her, and all these other things and elements are coming at her, needing her to be a certain way, wanting her to be a certain way, and she doesn't. She just goes on her journey, and at the end of it, she finds her voice. You know, she finds the ability to speak up about her experience, you know, and to find healing in that, or begin to, and do it only on her own time, in her own way. And that was so inspiring to me, and taught me a lot, actually, about times that I feel, you know, in a not good place, or anything difficult, as all humans, as we go through it together and on our own. So.
So Dan, this is super cool for me to get a chance to chat with you. We're here in Rochester, Michigan. This is in some ways kind of a homecoming for you.
Absolutely. From Clawson, Michigan.
Yeah.
And it's such a joy to get to come here and show the film, you know, where I grew up, and for such a great cause, the Assistant League of Southeastern Michigan, my mom's charity that she spent years volunteering time.
That's awesome.
So it's really fun, and it's fun to show it to, you know, as you can imagine, there's friends and family here too.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So it'll be a great experience for people to see it.
I know it's a short stop because you're just you're all over the place, you know, promoting Onward right now. But when you do come back to Michigan, when you come back home, do you have favorite stuff that you do? Is there a favorite spot, favorite restaurants?
Yep, I always stay in Clawson, even though my family doesn't live there anymore.
Okay.
And my brother, very sweetly, who lives in East Lansing, drives 2 hours to stay at an Airbnb with me, and we hang out with my mom, and we go to Ticonderoga and the Big Boy, and then my brother and I and my cousins go to the Hideout and the Clawson Steakhouse and all those places, and you know, there's so many. And I got to go to Warp 9 Comics to get my comic books.
It's a great plug.
All sorts of great places. Clawson was wonderful when I was here, but it's growing, and really becoming a super tight-knit community. They have so many fun things now. They show movies on the street, and so it always feels like home to me. I always feel so relaxed and happy to be here.
And you know, again, we're not giving anything away here, but like some of the themes in the film, you know, dealing with family and, you know, what's important, and kind of almost appreciating those that you do have, and instead of dwelling on who's not here. But there's also a theme in the movie. It starts off right off the bat where it's, you know, pretty clear that technology has really sucked the magic out of this world as technology has kind of advanced. Why was it important to kind of lay that as the groundwork for this story?
We wanted to create a world where this father character could be brought back for the day, and the idea of magic felt the most sort of romanticized version of that, which led us to this modern fantasy world. The idea of the movie isn't necessarily to say that technology is bad. Obviously, we make Pixar movies with it, and
Right.
and technology is a form of magic. It's
Sure.
really finding that balance between the sort of convenience of it.
A lot of animated films are really judged in a way in terms of how they can not only come across to children and kids, but also the parents. You know, there's a kind of animated movie that people say, well, the kids will love it, but oh man, it's going to be tough to sit there.
Right.
That's not the Pixar brand, and that's definitely not how Onward is. What's the key when making a movie in trying to balance the different ages that might experience it?
I think make it for yourself, make it for we make it at Pixar for our fellow employees who love movies and love the experience of movies, and we make it for them. We don't talk down to kids. I don't think you need to. I think kids are really smart. Obviously, within reason, it's a family film. You have to bear that in mind. But we never say, "Oh, that's a great idea," but I don't think kids would get that. I mean, ever. That never is said. And make them fun and give them all the varied emotion that you'd want out of any dramatic experience.
A whole lot of action. I was going to say, I know that both of you have been in movies before where you're running and different things like that. This one, you were like running all over the city.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a different type of action for me than I've previously done, and you know, it's to me, it's easier in some ways, and in other ways, it's like, you know, I think the hardest part of the action was the sleep factor. Is the fact that, you know, we were up at hours when I would normally be asleep, so I had to keep myself engaged in a way where, you know, I was ready to do that action at that time of night, you know.
Right. Right. Because, I mean, the whole thing is where the 21 Bridge is just the ways to get off the island, and the mayor shuts it down. And it's like, you guys only had like 4.5, 5 hours to clear
to
everything
do
up.
this, yeah. But then in movie time, that's it's a month and a half.
Right.
It was Chadwick Boseman's performance in 42 that really made us take a second look. There is such an honor and dignity to the way that he played Jackie Robinson that we knew we needed for the character of T'Challa, the Prince of Wakanda.
Chadwick is an amazing actor and we thought would fit perfectly with the MCU.
Black Panther himself, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick, you know, he has a lot of depth. It was amazing as an audience member to look into his eyes and see what's going on.
We must find a way to look after one another as if we were one single tribe.
A lot of the things about the character are also true about Chad. He's very knowledgeable. He's an athlete, you know, a martial artist. He's had a lot of experience playing roles that come with a lot of weight, you know. So I think he as a person, he as a guy has a lot of weight to him. I think he brings all of that stuff to the role, but not to mention that he's incredibly gifted as an actor and as a performer, and also as a storyteller in his own right.
I am not king of all people. I am king of Wakanda. And it is my responsibility to make sure our people are safe.
Because he is so prepared as an actor, and because his character is sort of flawless on set, it forced the other actors who had scenes with him to kind of raise their game and go, okay, this guy's not taking anything for granted. He's really leaving it all out there. So we have to keep up with him.
What doesn't Chadwick bring to the character? I mean, he's regal and grounded, and he brings a gravitas to it. So all of this feeds his T'Challa, and I think he wore the crown with dignity.
Bombay! Bombay!
I've known him since I was about like 17, so I've known him for a really long time. Back in New York, he did the work, obviously. You know, I just think he did an incredible job being true to the character.
I had a great time with Chadwick. Just warmth and camaraderie came into it, of course, with a great deal of respect for his previous work. So when I looked at him with proud eyes, you know, they were as mother and also as comrade and colleague and Angela. It is your time to be king.
I mean, Chadwick is just a powerhouse. He's so talented. Every single movie he's made. There's kind of this internal, almost nobility.
The Black Panther has been the protector of Wakanda for generations.
He's such a soulful actor and so professional, so present. He really gives so much to the other person, and he's awesome. And his presence on set, I think, raises the stakes a little bit for everybody.
Chadwick he's a really smart, interesting, dynamic guy, and I think he was not overwhelmed, but very surprised and somewhat taken aback by the amount of love. It ceased to become just about how well he inhabited the role and all that stuff. It's become part of our culture just as a symbol.
This welcome is one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced.
It's fun to watch just what it means to people. At times, in my head, I'll be like, well, what does this do for the world? Like, actually, what is it? You know, is it actually valuable in this climate? And I have to say, yes, it actually is. Not because it makes people escape. I think when done right, it gives people hope. I found that it means a lot.